As much as possible, online data should be compared with field measurements. Two ways to compare are linear regression and correlation. Both can be done in Excel. This example will compare measured and online data for 3 locations: Nong Khai in Thailand, Ban Pak Kan Hung in Laos, and Pre Vang in Cambodia. Online data sets are CHIRPS, CHIRPS Pentad, which is a 5-day average, and TerraClimate. If you haven't downloaded this data yet, see the video on how to download precipitation data. If you don't have a pivot table, see the video for how to create a pivot table. Below, we'll start with the spreadsheet. This is the data sheet for all the rainfall data. You can see that it is 50,000 lines of data, and we'll move through it quickly with the pivot table. Drag the fields so that they're shown in this way, and choose the location of Ban Pak Kan Hung. Okay. Make a new sheet. Make a copy of the chart so you have it, and paste it as a picture. Now, choose the columns for which there are overlapping data sets. We'll go to the end of 2020 and paste it into the new sheet. We'll also need the top row. Okay, add a filter, because we'll need to remove the years. Greater than or equal to 2008. And select these, and right-click, and delete them. Okay, now we'll clear the filter. Oop, we lost our chart. Let's move it back up. Okay, now choose the measured and the CHIRPS column and go to Insert, Chart, Scatter. Let's make sure that we have the correct data and the correct axes. We'll select Data and we'll go to Edit. We want to make sure that on the X-axis we have the measured data, which we do. Okay. Okay. Right-click and click on the data and add trend line. And here we have linear. Let's add display equation and display R² value. Close. Here we can see that R² value, which is 0.76, which is a good value for the CHIRPS data set. Let's copy this, plot, and we'll drag it over for CHIRPS 5. Very much the same. Let's make one more copy. And let's show for TerraClimate. Oops. Okay. Slightly better R² value, but all are very good. The R² value is an indication of how well the data fit. When there's less scatter, less space between the data, better R² value. If the data is more scattered in a plot, lower R² value. It does not necessarily tell you about the strength of the relationship. So we'll do that by adding a correlation. We'll type in Correl, and then we'll choose the measured values first, add a comma, add CHIRPS, close the parentheses, and here we have 0.87. Values that are above 0.75 show very strong relationships, so this is good. We'll change it here to measured and chirps pentad, same thing. Measured and TerraClimate, also very good. So now we'll do measured and chirps. Measured and chirps pentad, and then measured and TerraClimate. Okay. So here we have confidence between the measured data and the online data sets. Let's change the name here so we remember it. Okay. We're going to repeat this for the next location, Nong Khai. Okay. This time we'll copy the chart last. First we'll take the data. And add a filter. We want to remove anything greater than 2006. Delete. Put it all back. And same thing. Insert, scatter. We want to, okay, I've got my measured on the X, chirps is on the Y. Let's add a trend line. Okay, make a copy. And one more. TerraClimate. And we will copy these. Let's make sure this got it correctly. Chirps, pentad, and the correlation. This is all really good values. Let's make sure we get a picture, because when we change the location, the reason why you copy this as a picture is the pivot chart will change with the pivot table, and we don't want that. Okay. Now, let's do Prey Veng. And we can see the data set is not as long. It goes to 2013. And we can already see here that there's more scatter. So let's add a trend line. Okay, so the R-squared value is lower. But remember, we don't only want to use an R-squared value as a measure of our data, because it's just one metric. We also want to look at the correlation. So we'll copy these, and the correlation is actually not so bad for the chirps data, so that indicates we do have some confidence in its ability and the strength of the relationship between the two data sets. And we'll copy this over so we have a picture of it. And this is how you can compare measured and online data. Don't forget to save it.